Join me on this little journey of life. As we look around in our worlds, so many things can happen. My name is Raditya Lazari from Mindful Being, and I'd like to introduce you to conversations around how to be more mindful in our lives. Today's conversation is sharing with you a little bit more about mindful being. I wanted to give you a little behind the scenes and a little bit more information on what has been happening for the past 5 years and what the work really has evolved into. So it started in 2019 when I dedicated my life to this practice and found a way or the interest to help people and myself to really dive into living life to the fullest. And in the past few months, I've been working with individuals, I've been working with staff, and I've worked in organizations in the past. And what I've noticed is that the number one connector here is community. Even in these times of meditation sessions that I held, it's the community that we've built. And what I really wanted to bring to you is why has it been flourishing and how has it been evolving. There are different places of community. There's community in libraries, there's the community in the meditation sessions that I hold online, and then there is these communities that people already have, existing communities of work that we want to have more present moment experiences. And also, how can I communicate my experiences better to other people? And I always use my personal experiences to work through any of the challenges that people are having. Some of them I personally have not experienced, so I have to figure out a way and put myself in people's shoes, that what if that was me? What would I do? What would I add? And how would I see life different? And what opportunities would I get myself into? And especially when I work individually with people, this is when you can really dive in and figure out direct ways on how people can implement certain aspects into their life. Though at the end of the day, it's not any particular tools that I use or a particular skill set that I'm going through or a certain 1 through 10 that you have to follow through for the next few months. What my work really makes a difference in working with other people is bringing the sense to self, really bringing the tools that we already have, because you don't need more tools. I don't want to give you more things to do. We already are doing plenty. We don't need to do extra. What I'm asking to do when I talk about mindfulness is really to bring more awareness to the things that we are already doing, bringing more attention to what is at hand. What are we paying attention to, or actually not paying attention to? Because what's the worst thing that can happen is when a day is at the end of the day, you want to relax and you try to remember what you did and have no clue what you just did. And so we really want to find a way to keep these memories going. And so how can we remember what we've done is when we pay more attention to what's going on. So maybe some things that we're doing are not worth remembering, and maybe it actually will help us to move through the day with much more ease. And so it is hard to put into words because the work that I do is not an intellectual kind of work. It really is, yes, using your intellect and mainly connect to what's really happening inside of us, the emotions that we carry throughout the days, things that we try to push down and not really let out, ways of connecting to ourselves and seeing, where do I neglect myself, where do I push myself away, and trying to be more in touch with other people, and really seeing how we're moving through our lives. And so this is really where my work comes in, and where your feedback is at the essence, because my videos are not going to help your problems. You have to still do them, right? The problems that we're all facing are our individual problems and challenges, or whatever tough situations we're finding ourselves in, however you want to describe it. Because to me, as we're talking about words right now, the power of a word is only as powerful as you make it. So at the end of the day, however you want to see your life, that's how your life it is. If you see your life as being difficult, then that's how life is presenting itself as. If you see your life more as there are opportunities, then opportunities will arise. And it sounds very simple. It sounds very silly maybe, but at the end of the day, what I found interesting is there will be more green lights. I was just reading about driving, and when you are getting to a red light, all you're focusing on is getting to the end location, and so you get frustrated about that red light. Actually, I saw two things today in regards to a red light. And so what that first thing was is really like, what if that pausing, that stopping is actually an opportunity to restart something, maybe to gauge into a different aspect, and maybe have a different thought about something that we had, instead of being so focused on what's at the end of the road, or at the end of our wherever our destination is, the way to get there on our journey, the end of our journey. Instead of focusing on that and bringing more attention to, oh, what am I trying to get to? I'm trying to get to work. I really want to get there to work sooner. I mean, yes, we want to be responsible. We don't want to be late. And the funny thing is, probably if you're seeing this and you ever ran late, you probably left late. And it's a coincidence that traffic is happening at that same moment, meaning you're going to be extra late. So this is really how I see us viewing life in a different way, and practicing a little bit more honesty with ourselves, because then we start seeing that the reason why things haven't worked out so well is maybe because I didn't want them to work out well. Or maybe I'm not realizing that the way I'm thinking about things is why things have been more hard, more difficult, more not as smooth, not smooth sailing, right? And so this is where my work really comes in, that you can discover more freedom within the choices that you make, even if the outcome is not what you hoped for. And so that's another layer. But first, we want to just start off by getting to know ourselves better and seeing that there is a connection between up here and down here. And oftentimes we stop right by our necks, that we can't really connect from our brain down into our hearts because something in between is holding us back. And so I am here to help you figure out a way to get closer to what really is in our hearts, and let that brain do its thing, but be it just more as an information, not so much as a dedication. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I'll see you soon.